Women have been conditioned by society to be, act, and think a certain way. Here at Girls IRL, we encourage women to challenge societal norms and embrace their femininity. With that being said, let's get into this week's episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Girls in Real Life podcast. I'm your host, Mariah Clayton. Happy Monday. Happy August. It is currently August 1st, the day that I'm recording this episode, and I am just astounded by how quickly we have gotten to this point in the year. Like, where's the time going? I don't like it. I feel like I say this every single time a new month comes, but I can't help myself because genuinely time just will not slow down. But I hope you guys are having a good August so far. I definitely feel like I'm at the point in the year where I'm trying to ramp myself up, keep myself motivated and disciplined to try and reach my goals. And I'm just trying to realign myself with what my goals actually are, the things that I want to accomplish before the end of the year is over, what is most important to me. So I feel like I am very laser focused at the moment, and I like this feeling because I feel like for the past 2, maybe even 3 months, I've just been kind of going through the motions, just trying to take it day by day, not really doing a whole lot, but really just trying to make sure that I'm surviving, I guess is the best way to put it. But now I'm at the point in the year where it's okay, girl, we got to get ourselves together because there's no more time to be lackadaisical and dilly-dally around. We have got to put our butt in gear and accomplish all the goals that we said we wanted at the beginning. Honestly, I am so over fighting with this natural light because one minute it's sunny and bright and I look amazing in the camera, and then the next, the clouds are just covering the sun and looks like it's about to thunderstorm, and I'm just over it. So I'm sorry that the lighting is always acting weird and funny, but whatever. I feel like there's not much to update you guys on as far as my life and updates because not a lot has really been going on. It's just that time of year where everything has just kind of slowed down and you're gearing up for it to pick back up again. So there really hasn't been much going on this side of my little corner of life. I did finish the first book of the Crescent City series, House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. I told you guys I started reading that, and oh my gosh, Sarah knows how to get me. She really does. Now, I will say, when I first started the book, the first 100 pages, I was so confused. I had no idea what was going on. I'm like, what world are we in? Where are we at? What are we doing? What's happening? Who's here? I was genuinely so confused. And I was looking at a few TikToks, and everybody else said that they felt the same way when they first started reading the book. But I just kept reading, and the more that I read, the more that I was understanding what was going on, the different types of people that were in the world, the different types of powers, how it's all built and together, the history of it, I guess. And the more I kept reading, the more I was like, okay, I see it now, and I'm actually enjoying the book. Because when you start a fantasy book, you open the pages and you see this big old fantasy map, and you don't know what anything is, what any of it means, and you're just going in kind of blind. At least that's typically how it is for me. So when I started reading the book, and they're doing all of the world building at the beginning and trying to introduce us to the characters and trying to get us to understand the magic system, I'm just like, whoa. I need to reread this 20 times just to make sure that I'm understanding. But even when I'm understanding, I'm not fully understanding, because the more that you read, the more that the puzzle pieces start clicking together, and you realize the things that you thought you knew, you didn't really know, but you didn't know until you knew. So it's just one of those things. But it was honestly such a good book. Sarah has made me cry in every single book that I've read, and I don't know what that says about me. I don't know, but I love it. I love that she tugs at my heartstrings, that she makes me feel something, and that she gets me to connect with the characters so much that I'm feeling what they're feeling. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to start the second book, which I think is called House of Sky and Breath. And Again, we're going in blind. I don't know what the book is about. I don't know how the story is going to progress. And I've heard people say that like the first book is the best one. So I'm kind of nervous, but honestly, like I've liked every Sarah J. Maas book that I've read. So I don't really care what anybody else says. I'm sure it's probably a good book, and I'm sure the third one is probably good as well. But enough about me and my books. See what I'm saying? This is why I need to start a book talk or like a book Instagram page, because I could just go on about what I'm reading. And I know that most people just don't care because y'all are not going to read it anyway. So we're just going to go ahead and dive into today's podcast episode, which is all about things that I wish I knew before I started college. I felt like this episode was perfect because we're at the beginning of August. School is about to start back up very soon. So I was hoping to give the girlies a little bit of big sister advice, kind of a guideline of things that I wish I knew before I started college so that y'all will have the upper hand. I have a list of things on my phone that we're going to get through. Do y'all see my super cute phone case? It's from Velvet Caviar. It's got like little cherries on it. Y'all know that's the girls in real life thing. So it's so cute. So the first thing I have on my list is network. And I will say, I'll be the first person to say that when I was in college, I didn't care. I didn't care about networking. I didn't care about meeting new people. I didn't care about trying to set up my life for after college because I wasn't even thinking that far ahead. I was just like, I'm in college. I'm here. I want to have a good time. I want to have fun. I want to play volleyball. And like, that's literally it. So I never did any of the things that I feel like I should have done to help me set myself up for success when I got out of college, like going to the job fairs. I thought the job fairs were literally so stupid, but they're not. Like there's so many incredible opportunities in the job fair, internships, and just meeting people in your field of work. I never joined an organization or a sorority. Like I never really got super in touch with trying to meet new people outside of being a volleyball player, outside of athletics. I really didn't know anyone. So I feel like if I could go back in time and go to college for the first time, I would definitely just network and try and meet as many people as I could, because you never know who's going to be able to help you while you're in college, when you get out of college. Like there are so many connections that are super important that you're going to make while you're in college. So don't neglect building those relationships, making those connections, and putting yourself out there, because it's going to pay off so much in the long run. Kind of piggybacking off of that, my next piece of advice is to be involved. Again, I wasn't really involved in much of anything outside of being a volleyball player. Like I said, I didn't join a sorority. I wasn't a part of SGA. I didn't really go to the on-campus events or like the little get-togethers and things that they would have in the cafeteria or whatever the case may be, right? Like I was just never on the scene unless I was at practice or playing a game, you know? So I wish that I would have been a lot more involved. I would have gotten more involved in a lot more organizations. And again, just putting myself out there to open myself up to more opportunities outside of athletics, because that was kind of just like my bubble. It's where I was comfortable. It's where I knew the most people. So I didn't really feel the need to branch out and do other things and meet new people. But I've seen the impact that that can have. And I wish that I would have taken advantage of that when I could. There's so many opportunities that you have on a college campus. And it really is important to like be involved, make those connections, and network. So again, you're setting yourself up for success on the outside, because you're only in college for 4 years. So it's really important to think about like the life that you want to live outside of college, where you want to be, the people that you want to know. And I know that can be really, really hard to figure out, because like you're 17 years old, 18 years old, maybe even 19, and you're just trying to figure this out as you go. But hopefully you guys heed my warning and you realize how important it actually is to like make those connections and to be involved, even though it might not be cool to be involved, you know? My next piece of advice is to take advantage of the campus resources. I'm talking about like your campus counselors, your campus clinics, like healthcare. I'm talking about tutoring, all of those resources that they have for you at your disposal. You need to be taking advantage of them. I never not once went to the campus counselor. It's literally free for you to go. So like, why would you not go? But I never went to the counselor. I never like tried to talk about my problems or explore myself deeper, because I was like, I don't care. You know, when I was in college, I really was just at the point where I was just like, I don't care. Like, who needs counseling? Like, I'm totally fine. But like, no, it would have done me some good to go see that campus counselor at least once a week. But yeah, those resources are there for a reason. Especially if you live on campus, they know that like it can be really hard if you're coming from out of state. Maybe you don't have a car or something like that, to be able to go and like get certain things done. So to be able to have healthcare on campus, to be able to have counseling on campus and tutors on campus that are willing to sacrifice their time to help you be a better version of yourself, like definitely take advantage of that. Okay, next on my list says changing your major isn't the end of the world. Now, I personally never changed my major, but I had friends who did, and they would always like freak out so much about changing their major, especially if they were like in year 2 or year 3, because changing your major means that like depending on what you're changing it to, you might have to take different prerequisite classes. You might have to add more classes to your schedule. You might have to stay in school an additional semester, sometimes even an additional year. But honestly, at the end of the day, changing your major is not the end of the world. And if you are in a major that is not fulfilling you, or you're just not passionate about it anymore, and you find something else that is, don't be afraid to take the leap of faith and just change your major, because I promise you, you would want to risk changing your major and have to spend another semester in school rather than getting a degree in something that you don't care about and then having to work in that space for the rest of your life, all because you were afraid to change your major in college. Like, I promise you, it is okay to change your major. I wish that I would have changed my major, even though I liked my major. I majored in psychology. I did really good. Like, I graduated at the top of my class, had the highest GPA in the College of Social Sciences. Like, I was that girl, okay? But now, reflecting back and obviously doing the things that I do now, I wish that I would have pursued something like marketing or business. And I feel like that would have better suited me for the types of jobs that I want to work now rather than a degree in psychology. But at that time, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So again, it probably would have done me some good to go see the counselor or go see my academic advisor and really just get insight on like what track would be best for me and get guidance on what they think that I should be doing with my life. Because again, like, I had no freaking clue. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So if I would have had someone to talk to, maybe they would have been able to put me on the right track. But now I have a degree that I literally don't use, and I'm trying to let that not be you. So if you feel like you're in your major and you make good grades and you do like it, but maybe you don't love it, like, go see your academic advisor, go talk to the campus counselor, and just see what opinions they might have about it. Let them pull what you're passionate about out of you and create a game plan for you to be able to find a major that is going to help support those passions. My next piece of advice is to make good impressions on your professors, because it could literally be the difference of you passing a class or not passing a class. And I know that that sounds crazy, but I'm telling you right now, I have seen it in person, in my real actual life, the importance of having a good relationship with your professors. I'm not gonna lie, I was a teacher's pet, okay? I made sure that I got everything done on time. I made sure that I raised my hand and asked questions in class and was attentive in class. I made sure to stay after class to talk to my professors to see like what they were doing on the weekend, what, they were doing for the rest of their day. What did they eat for lunch? I was going to visit them in their office hours, just sitting in there doing homework. Like, when I tell you, I spent so much time making sure my professors knew who I was, knew that I was an athlete, and I got to know them as well. And it made all the difference because they understood me on a deeper level than they did a lot of my other classmates. And I feel like it gave me the advantage. Like, if I was missing class because I had a game or because I had practice or something, they were more lenient with me because they knew that, like, okay, Mariah's going to get this stuff done. Like, she's turning in her homework early. She's asking questions. She's coming to visit me in my office hours. She's letting me check over her work so early so that when she does turn it in finished, it's all good to go. So I was taking that extra step. And they tell us to do this as athletes because we are missing a lot of class. But I'm just telling you to do this in general, whether you're an athlete or not. Like, it is so important to have those relationships with your professor, because if it comes down to something where, like, maybe you're 2 points away from having a B in the class instead of a C. You know what they might do? They might let you redo an assignment. They might give you extra credit that they don't give anyone else. Honestly, they might just give you the 2 points and you don't even know that they do it. Like, it goes a long way to be able to show your professors that, like, you're here, you're engaged, you're not joking around, but you take this seriously, and they really, really do respect that. So just make sure that you're making those connections with your professors. Now, I was not buddy with all of my professors. Like, my prerequisite classes when I was taking math and freaking biology, I was not talking to those professors. But when I got deeper into my college, when I was taking all psychology classes, when I was having the same teacher more than one time, oh, best believe I made sure they knew who I was, and we were besties for the whole semester. My next piece of advice is to take care of your physical health and your mental health. Again, I feel like we kind of already talked about like going to see the campus counselor, because I didn't do that. But let's talk about physical health for a little bit, because I know we all know about the freshman 15 whatever, right? Like, you go to college, you're away from your family, you don't really have anybody cooking dinner for you, you're not really cooking dinner for yourself, you hardly ever want to eat what's in the cafeteria, so you're always eating out. Like, you're not working out because you're partying and drinking and doing all the things. And it's like, you have to remember to take care of your physical health, because you cannot get to college and just like let yourself go. And I don't mean let yourself go and like, oh, you cannot gain weight. Like, that's not what I'm saying at all. But you cannot lose your discipline and your motivation and your routines that are going to help keep you being the best version of yourself. Because if you just continue to let yourself go down that path of like eating whatever you want, partying and drinking in the morning all the way through the night, not getting enough sleep and rest because you're so concerned about doing all the other things, like, you are going to burn yourself out so badly. Your mental health is going to suffer because of it, and you're not going to recognize yourself anymore. And I don't want that to happen to you. So this is not me saying don't eat out, don't gain weight, don't go party. Like, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying everything in moderation, right? Like, you know what your limits are. You know what a healthy lifestyle looks like for you. Don't abandon that because you are now in college, surrounded by new people in a new environment. Like, you need to lean back on the things that have gotten you to where you are in order for you to continue feeling like yourself, being like yourself, acting like yourself. It's going to make all the difference. So just make sure that you're taking care of yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, like all of the things. Don't lose every single part about yourself now that you're into college. Don't lose your routine and your discipline, because you're going to need it to help carry you through the next 4 years. Okay, the next thing I have on my list is actually kind of funny. I wrote, you only get an extra cord if you graduate with honors, not a super diploma. So I honestly wrote this down for all of my academic achievers who like want to make the best grades, who want to graduate with honors, who want to like have every accolade that they can when they graduate. Like, I'm saying this to you, and I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. But no one cares if you graduate with honors. No one cares if you graduate with straight A's. No one cares if you did defended a thesis or like did extra. No one cares but you. And if you care, then like, okay, that's fine. But I'm telling you, if you are trying to graduate with honors, if you are trying to have all these amazing grades, this amazing GPA, because you think that the people in the workforce actually care about that kind of thing, I'm gonna be the first one to tell you they don't. Okay, I done seen people that I went to school with who passed with straight C's and D's get 6-figure paying jobs, right? Like, it truly does not matter. Now, if you are in the honors college because you have a scholarship and you making it through college relies on you keeping good grades and graduating with honors and defending your thesis, then absolutely, like, take that ish seriously, because that is how you're graduating college. But if you are someone who just wants to take the honors course just because you want to do it, just because you want the accolades, but it's stressing you out, just walk away. Okay, I had to do it. I was in the honors college my freshman year. I was in the honors college. I hated all of my honors classes because I had to do more work than everyone else. I knew that at the end of my 4 years, I was going to have to defend a thesis and like do a whole bunch of research. And I didn't want to do that because I already had to do it for my actual college in psychology. And I was just like, this is just too much. It's taking too much out of me and I'm not getting enough return on it in order for me to say that this is valuable to me in any way. And I didn't have a honors scholarship. So for me, it was just like null and void. Like, why am I here? Let's drop out. So I did. But again, if you have that scholarship, then obviously you need it. Okay. Keep your grades up. And I'm not saying don't make good grades. I'm not saying don't shoot for the stars and like have a perfect GPA or like please do that. Like it's still important. However, it is not the most important thing in the world. And I'm saying that because I felt like it was, and I had so much I don't even weight, I guess, in my academic validation and making sure that like I did everything I was supposed to do. I'm making the best grades that I can. And it puts so much pressure on me. And it was unnecessary pressure. So hopefully someone who is hearing this will just take that pressure off of themselves and realize that it's not that deep. Okay. Like it's okay if you don't have a 3.8 GPA. It's okay if you only graduate with a 2 point. Okay, don't graduate with a 2 point. Graduate with a 3 point and up. But I'm saying, oh my gosh, I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. I'm just saying your future employer is not going to care if you graduated with an extra cord around your neck. Like it truly doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. So don't worry about it. Okay, the next thing I wrote down is time management is everything. Again, when you get to college, you are no longer under your parents' thumb. You no longer have people telling you what to do 24/7, unless you're an athlete, because I sure as hell did. But if you're just like a regular person going to school, your sense of routine, your sense of having somebody constantly telling you what to do is thrown out the window. And you're just like, woo, I can do whatever I want, whenever I want. I don't have to do my homework. I'm going to the party. I don't have to wake up early and go to this class because I'm staying out all night. Like, come on now. We have to remember our disciplines and our rules that our parents had in place for us. Well, some of us, some people's parents really probably weren't super strict. But either way it goes, you need to make sure that you are managing your time wisely in college because you will be astounded by how you feel like you don't have enough time to get everything done. And like when you were in middle school and high school, you could do 3 sports and you could get your homework done and you could go to the parties and you could do all the things. But when you get to college, it's just like, I don't know what it is, but it's just completely different. Like time is just a completely different phenomenon when you make it into college. And the things that you used to have time for, you feel like you no longer have time for. So time management is going to be very key. Like I said, for me, I kind of still had a routine. I kind of still had people running my life because I was an athlete. I had to be at practice in the morning, had to go to weights right after, then I had to go to class, then I had to go to study hall, then I had to go to the cafeteria, right? Like I had a set routine and a schedule, and it really did help keep me on track and making sure that I'm getting all of the things done that I need to get done. So just rely on that. Rely on your routine, rely on your calendar, and just like make sure that you're writing out all of the things that are the most important that you need to get done and manage your time wisely. The next piece of advice I wrote down is peer pressure comes from people who don't want to see you succeed. Okay. I know when we get to college, everybody is doing everything. Okay. It is like a whole new world. You are exposed to so many different things that you haven't been exposed to before. And people are going to try to convince you to do things that you might have an issue with your personal value system. And I need you to know that you do not have to give in to that peer pressure. No matter how much they're trying to make it seem like you're lame, you're a party pooper, you're no fun, right? Like I'm telling you right now, you do not have to give in to the peer pressure and do what everyone else is doing just because they think that it's cool. If you don't think it's cool, then that's your prerogative and you don't have to do it. And you shouldn't let anyone make you feel bad about that, because Lord knows they will. When I was in college, I didn't drink, never had a lick of alcohol, never smoked any weed, never taken any kind of drugs, didn't do Adderall. But as soon as I got to college, I was surrounded by people who this was just like their normal way of life. And they tried to convince me to do these things, to take part in these things. Every time me and my teammates would go out, they would try and convince me to drink, try and convince me to smoke, try and convince me to like do whatever it was that they were doing. And every single time I stood my ground, because I knew what my value system was. I knew how my parents raised me, and that just wasn't something that I wanted to be a part of. I took playing volleyball very seriously in college. Like, I literally treated my body like a temple, and if it didn't serve me in a positive way, then I wasn't partaking in it. So yeah, I was pretty much the lame one out of the group. They called me the mom of the group. I was the designated driver at all times. I was the one making sure everybody was accounted for, right? Like, that was my role, and I was proud of it. I was happy to take care of my friends, but I was not going to let them peer pressure me into doing something that I knew that I didn't want to do. So this is me telling you that you don't have to do that either. Now, if you want to drink, obviously that's your choice. If you want to smoke, obviously that's your choice. But I'm telling you right now, like, if this is something that you're unsure about and you have a bad feeling about, your intuition is always right. Turn the other way. If these people don't respect your decision and they continue to try and push you and peer pressure you into doing something that they now know you don't have an interest in, then they obviously don't want to see you win. They're obviously not your friends. They obviously don't want to see you succeed or be better than them in any way, shape, or form. So those are people that you probably need to walk away from, honestly. So just remember that when somebody is trying to peer pressure you into doing something, it's normal for people to peer pressure you once, twice, maybe even 3 times. But if you're still standing strong in your decision and they're still continually trying to get you to do it, they don't want to see you succeed, okay? Go find some new friends. Next on my list, I wrote, most boys really do only want one thing, okay? Like, your daddy wasn't lying about that one. I know some people don't believe in having very serious relationships during college. You know, this is your time to have fun. This is your time to date and kiss and do whatever it is that you want to do with whoever you want to do it with. And like, that's totally fine as long as you are aware that that is someone's goal. You know, like, I don't want, especially my girlies, to get wrapped up in this hot football player. Maybe he's a baseball player and he's love bombing you so hard and he's, you know, doing all the right things, but you feel like he only wants to do with you. You know, like, you just need to be very, very careful, because it's easy to fall under the spell, especially if they're athletes. Like, it's very easy to fall under the spell. I fell under the spell, okay? Do I want to tell y'all this story? I don't even know. Okay, so there was this baseball player while I was in college. Like, obviously I thought he was super attractive. The semester just started and my teammates took me to like this little kickback and I met him there, and I just thought he was the finest man I ever seen in my life. Like, I was like, okay, I like you. And we started texting, started talking, and I obviously wanted something more, but he just kept telling me, I'm just not ready for a serious relationship right now. But still calling me in the middle of the night, still trying to get me to come to his apartment, still trying to all the things, right? And I was like, no, sir, no, sir. Like, if you're not trying to move forward with me, then we cannot move forward together, okay? So all I'm saying is, like, you just need to be very aware of people's intentions with you, and trust your discernment about people, trust your intuition, because again, most guys really do only want one thing. And once they get that one thing, there's nothing else to the relationship for them. Don't let nobody just drag you along as somebody who they're talking to, somebody who they're vibing with, okay? Like, it's cringy. No, like, we don't want that, especially if you want to have a serious relationship and like you're very interested in some guy, but they're not expressing that same interest in you. Don't play yourself the fool, okay? I don't care how attractive they are. I don't care how much you like them. If they don't like you back with that same intensity, then it's not going to work anyways. Now, again, if you know that their intention is to just sleep with you or like do whatever with you, then, and you're okay with that, then by all means, like, you're your own person, you can do whatever it is that you want. But I'm just saying, like, don't get caught up in all the boys at college and get swept up under their spell that you get your heart broken to the point where it hurts too much to even like try and be in a committed relationship again, because now you have trust issues. You know what I'm saying? So just be wary of the boys. They like to do whatever they can to get what they want, and I just don't want you to be used in that way, okay? The things I wrote on this list and the way that I wrote them are actually so funny. Okay, the next one I wrote is, it's okay that you don't have money. You're supposed to be broke. Yes, like, I wish someone would have told me this, that I don't need to have all of the money in the world. Like, I don't need to have a huge savings account. It's okay if I don't have a job. Like, this is the time in my life where I'm learning how to be an adult, and like, I'm trying to figure it out. And it's okay if I don't have money, if I can't buy the things that I want to buy. Like, this is the time of this is the brokest time of your life, because at this point, like, you've been living with your parents your whole life. You've never really had to think about literally anything, if you're lucky, you know, if you have parents who are able to like provide for you and take care of you. Now, I know some people have to work and, you know, they don't have that responsibility. Like, they have that responsibility is what I'm trying to say. But I, for one, was grown up in a household where like I didn't really want for anything. I never really had to have a job. If I wanted a job just to have more money, then I could get a job, but it wasn't like my responsibility to bring money into the household for things. And so when I got to college and I was just kind of like out there on my own in a limbo state, you know, I didn't have a job, but I couldn't really keep asking my daddy for money, because my daddy is like, you grown, you out the house now, like, eat the food on campus. I'm not giving you $10 to go to McDonald's, right? Like, it was just like, dang, I'm really out here on my own and I don't have nothing. But you're supposed to be broke, okay? It's okay that you're broke. Everybody else is broke too, unless they have a trust fund or unless they're literally working their way through college. Like, everybody else is just as broke as you, so it's okay. You're supposed to be broke. You're not always gonna be broke, but for this small little moment in your life, you're gonna be broke, and that's okay. You're gonna make money where you can. You might get a little side job. You might start doing hair in college or like doing people's makeup just to make it by. You know, you're gonna figure out a way to hustle and make some money, but it's not gonna be a lot. And like, it's okay. I want you to know that it's okay, and you're not supposed to have a lot. Okay, the next thing I wrote down and says, you will make mistakes, and that's okay. You're learning how to be an adult. This is the time of your life where you'll probably make the most mistakes that you'll ever make in your entire life. And you're supposed to, because our prefrontal cortex is still developing, okay? And it's not even going to fully develop until you're 3 years out of college. So a lot of mistakes are going to be made. A lot of bad decisions are going to happen, but don't beat yourself up about it, okay? These mistakes, they're going to help define who you are in your adult life. So take them as lessons, because they are. You are literally learning how to be an adult. You're literally learning how to live an independent life, and you're learning things about yourself every single day. And you need to give yourself grace for that. And everybody needs to give everyone grace for that. And I know it's hard to do it in the moment, especially if someone has hurt you, or if you feel guilty for hurting someone else or doing something bad that you know that you shouldn't have, whatever the case may be, right? But just remember that these are the lessons that you're going to learn for your future from the mistakes that you're making right now. And these mistakes are going to help grow you and develop you in ways that you can never even imagine. You're not going to be perfect. You're going to mess up, and it's going to be messy, and it's going to be hurtful, and it's going to be a lot of pain, and you're going to go through a lot of trauma maybe. But in the end, you'll be able to reflect back on your life and discover how each of those small little moments helped build you up into the person that you are today. And you're going to be amazed. Like, you're genuinely going to be amazed at how much you've learned and how much you've grown just from living life. So don't beat yourself up too bad when you do something wrong, or you hurt someone, or you make an error, because it's what you're supposed to do. especially during this time of your life. Next, I wrote, you will lose a lot of old friends, but you'll make better new ones. I really do envy the people who have had the same friends since they were like 3 years old, the same friends from high school, because I don't. I made all of my best friends in college, and they are people that I would literally die for, like they're the strongest relationships that I've ever had as far as friends go. And I wish that someone would have just told me that, like, you're gonna lose a lot of friends along the way. You're going to grow apart from people. You're going to be put on different paths. And that's okay. It's all right to still have love for those old friends. It's okay to like miss them and to still connect with them, but maybe just not as much as you used to. But the friendships that you're going to make in college, those new friends that you're going to grow with, the friends that are going to be bridesmaids in your wedding and like God parents to your children, like that's what you have to look forward to. And it's so beautiful. My friendships from college are the ones that I literally like cherish the most. They mean the most to me. They know the most about me. We lived so much of our lives together. It could be your roommate that you got randomly hooked up with. It could be a teammate if you are an athlete. It could be someone that's in your class that you just really connect with. It could literally be anyone. But just open yourselves up to those relationships and those friendships, and don't feel bad about losing your old friends along the way, because like I said, sometimes you just grow apart. Sometimes your interests just change. And now that you're in a new environment and they're in a new environment, you realize that like y'all were really just best friends because y'all were in the same environment and y'all didn't really have anything else, but these friendships that you're going to build while you're in college, like they're going to go so much deeper than any friendship I think that you'll ever have in your life, because you're going through the most transformative moments of your life with these people. And like I said, it's just beautiful. My next piece of advice is you don't have to have your entire life figured out. You still have time. When you go to college, you typically have two groups of people. You have one group who has had their life figured out from the moment that they could comprehend a thought. And then you have the other group of people who literally have no idea what they're doing with their life. They're just kind of going with the flow. That was me. I was on this side, okay? My sister Shelby, she was on this side. She knew she was going to be a lawyer from the moment that she had her first argument, and she's a lawyer to this day. But that just wasn't my story. And I had a lot of self-doubt about like what I was going to do, who I was going to become, the type of jobs that I was going to have. And I felt kind of insecure about it because it felt like everyone around me had this set plan and knew what they were going to do and how they were going to get there. And I was just kind of like, I'm just here. Like, I don't really know what's going on, but I'm just hoping that everything works out. So if you're kind of like me and you don't really have things figured out, but everyone else around you does, it's okay. Like, no matter what anyone is saying, no matter who is telling you that you need to have it figured out, you're running out of time, I promise you, you have so much time to figure this life stuff out. You're just getting started. Like, don't put so much pressure on your future when you're just trying to survive through the present day. Just by living life and going through different experiences, you're going to figure out what you want to do. You're going to figure out what you want your life to look like, what you want to be doing, the type of people that you want to be around, the type of life that you want to live. It's going to come to you. Some people, it just takes a little bit longer to happen than others, and that is okay. I had so many people in my ear telling me, figure it out, you're running out of time, what are you going to do? And it's just, it causes so much pressure, and you make hasty decisions and you make decisions based off of what other people want rather than what you want, and then you end up being miserable doing something that you never wanted to do in the first place because you just felt like you had to make a decision. So I'm telling you, you have time. Let life happen. Try new things, like maybe add an extracurricular class that you might be interested in. Just see if you like it, like you have so many options and so much time to figure out what it is that you truly want to do for the rest of your life. So don't let people convince you otherwise. And then the last thing that I have written down is these are the most carefree years of your life. Don't rush it, okay? College is so beautiful and fun and exciting. It's also scary, but it's such an amazing time in your life. And it's literally going to be some of the best years that you ever experience and have. Like, these are the days that you're going to tell your children about, your grandchildren about, what you did with your besties in college, how you lived your days in college, the football games and the parties and all of the things. So don't rush and try to like get to your next phase of life, to try and get to that high paying job, to try and get to that husband, to try and get to that motherhood life, because this time, your time in college, is the only time that you have to be truly, truly selfish. It is the only time that you literally have zero cares in the world because you're just living life and enjoying life. Don't be like me, okay? I was the person that was trying to just hurry up and graduate early and hurry up and like get this out of the way so I could just go and do whatever it is I wanted to do next. And I wish that I would not have done that, because I feel like I missed out on so much of my college experience because I was solely focused on just playing volleyball and getting out. Like I said, I didn't join any organizations. I didn't join a sorority. I didn't go to the on-campus events. I didn't make new friends outside of the athletic world. And I wish that I did. So if I could just give a warning to anyone else to just step outside of your comfort zone, meet new people, try new things, don't be afraid, enjoy this moment of your life, slow down, then I want to do that. I want to help encourage you guys to really just embrace your college experience, because it is a once in a lifetime experience. Being an undergrad and living that undergrad life is something that you'll never be able to do again, So I really just hope that you guys heed my warnings, take my advice. I hope that it was helpful for you. But yeah, I want you guys to have a good college experience and to have the best college experience that you can have, and take advantage of all that going to college has to offer, because it's so special, and I just want you guys to enjoy it. So anyways, that's going to end today's episode. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. If you're going off to college, I'm wishing you all of the luck, and like, it's scary, I know, and it's like new and intimidating, but you're going to have so much fun. And again, these are the days that you are going to remember the most, that you're going to look back on with the fondest memories of. So just enjoy it. Take it day by day. You'll be fine. Anyways, that ends the episode. If you enjoy it, go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. Leave me a comment, a review, a rating, all the things. I hope you guys have a great Monday, a great week, and I'll talk to you in my next episode. Bye.